More so behind the scenes, more of the therapy side. So getting players ready for the game, ready for practice, coordinating with the strength conditioning coach and the medical director, making sure the players are ready to play, ready to perform.
Anything that has to do with the guys off the court, from their relocation, helping them find housing, helping them with their itinerary when they first get drafted or traded or signed with the team. I work hand in hand with our community relations department to helping them find initiatives that benefit them as well as the community.
I do medical coverage and rehabilitation for the OKC Blue athletes.
Why not aim for the NBA? Some will actually just say, "Are you sure?" And I'll never forget one person, "You sure that's not a stretch?" When you do hear those comments, to understand like your mind, your dream has to scare you. Your goal has to scare you in order to get to the point where it's like, let's strive for it. What are some steps I can take towards it?
I've been given opportunity by people from all races and genders to say, hey, we feel like you can do this role. So I'm one of the lucky ones that have had an opportunity. I grew up in a house where my mom said I could do or be anything, regardless of the color of my skin or my gender. So to believe and work hard, I do think that sometimes we do have to work harder to prove ourselves. I think that the sports world now is opening the doors to women more than it ever has. So there's an opportunity that maybe weren't opportunities that weren't there 20 years ago.
When I was in the residency in the clinic, there was about 30 to 35 therapists. I was the only black female in that entire clinic. Same thing with the fellowship. There was actually not a black person in that clinic and in the training room setting. Except for the athletes.
It's inspiring. I've had several black females reach out to me and just asking me my pathway and how they can get there. They see that it's attainable, seeing me in this position. We're definitely like getting more chances, and we're being noticed more. I think that this is a good time to be here, and there are many people who are putting themselves in a position to get to where we are. So even if it's a couple faces now, I feel like in a year or two, we'll be well represented.
Representation matters because it helps with continuity of care. It helps with trust from player, client, to staff. There
are some black men that I've seen in these positions, and that kind of was inspiring to me. Even though it's not quite the same, but just seeing them in these positions made me feel like it was achievable. So I feel like everybody should help whatever level they're at. So they started it, and then we continue to pave the pathway for others to follow.
And being okay that if you are the first for something, there's going to be obstacles along the way, there's going to be opposition along the way, there's going to be a lot of setbacks. You may feel like the process is taking longer than it needs to. And I think it's important for females, black females, to be in this position, be visible, be in leadership, especially if you're in a sport where the players are predominantly black. I think it's very helpful because you can understand certain things that maybe that player is going through. Maybe they're not even verbalizing, but they're portraying it, and you can actually understand, and you can help navigate that and help others understand. Being on the bench, obviously a huge responsibility, call it more like the hot seat. I think it's a lot of pressure, but it's more of like an honor in a way because I'm not alone.
It's great to see representation and seeing someone like me. Like we'll find in like PT school, there's not a lot of black people in our classes. So I'm thinking that I'm just like out here kind of on my own. When I found out Vanessa was working with the organization, like I was ecstatic. I've never met someone who's just as ambitious as me. Like, I don't know, just overall, it's fantastic. It's a great feeling. And the organization, I feel like is ahead of other organizations and just recognizing talent and helping us be more represented in professional sports.
It's amazing because, to be honest, to see our trainers on the G League and the Blue, like that's unheard of for even one team to have someone that sits on the bench by coaches that's an African American female, but to have two that have PhDs, like these are women that are like very powerful that 20 years ago wouldn't have had that opportunity. And I think that can't go unfounded. So to be able to work with women, it empowers you. It makes you feel like, okay, like not only do I have an opportunity, but like I work with some great women, and we're an organization that has looked and said, we see their value and worth, and we're going to utilize it.